Good afternoon, Rotary. Is this on?
No.
Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests, and welcome to the Hickory Rotary Club. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Please remain standing while Thomas Griffiths does our invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious Creator of all life, we give you thanks for this day and for the sheer privilege that is ours to walk through it. As we make our way through the day, give us eyes, hearts, minds to respond to the needs that we see around us. Hear our thanksgiving for the leaders of our Hickory Rotary Club and for Mark, who leads us today. Hear our delight in the sound of music that we soon will hear by our musician for the day, and for our ability to celebrate with those who are celebrating birthdays today, the days past, and the days to come. Keep us always true to one another and to this high calling that we as Rotarians have, to serve above self in all that we think, say, and do. Bless this meal, those who prepare and serve it. May it nourish our bodies and strengthen us for the work yet to be accomplished in this day. Amen.
And Tony Reed as our visiting Rotarians.
Today we have from Lake Hickory, Floyd Lucas, and David Head. Newton Town, George Flores.
Glad to hear. Do we have any guest Rotarians in the room today? Okay. Next we have Carrie Livingston with some special guests for Lenore Ryan.
Thank you, President-elect, right? The best part of my job at Lenore Ryan with the Bears Club are the student athletes that are surrounding me every day. So we have 4 here today, 2 from baseball and 2 from softball, which are both having stellar seasons so far. Baseball's home this weekend for 3 games against Catawba, so come on out. I'll let them introduce themselves. Gentlemen.
I'm Connor Daly. I'm a junior from Spindale, North Carolina.
Trip Hamrick. I'm a junior from Fort City, North Carolina.
What positions do you play?
Connor is a pitcher, I was about to say that, and Tripp plays around in the infield, different positions, and the ladies will let you know their positions. Plays around.
I'm Madison Carter, and I'm a junior from Bessemer City, North Carolina, and I play shortstop. My name is Sydney Landreth. I'm a senior nursing student, and I play first base from Prince George, Virginia.
Thank you.
Fantastic, glad you're here. I believe Sandy Fotheringham has a Rotarian Idol announcement, and she will also introduce our singer today.
We are wrapping up our ad sales, and actually this week was the deadline, but we still have some that are coming in, and if you haven't gotten your ads in, please follow up with the merchant or the people that you're selling to, and we also need their ads, the ad copy, so if you'll get that in. Anyone who wants to place a personal ad, you can still do that. That's $75. And we have tickets today to hand out. Leslie put them all in envelopes for us, and is it on the outside of the envelope? If you still owe for those tickets, the amount is on there. Some of you paid the first half, but you haven't paid the second half, or so on. If there's any question about that, and some of them have been questionable, you need to see Lynn, and she can straighten it out for you. Thank you. And Greg is going to introduce our Rotarian Idol contestant.
Thank you, Sandy. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I would like to introduce today Josh Costello, who is with us and is one of the finalists for our Rotarian Idol this year. Josh is originally from California, but has been living in Hickory for the last 10 years. He was hired at First United Methodist in 2015, where he is currently in training to be a youth pastor. His parents were musicians, and 2 years ago, Josh was a finalist for Rotarian Idol as well. So it's a pleasure to have him with us today. Without further ado, Josh Costello.
All right. My mother raised me right. She raised me on the golden oldies, so that's what you get today. This is Be My Baby by the Ronettes.
The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make them turn their heads every place we go. So won't you please be my little baby. Say you'll be my darling, be my baby now. Oh, I'll make you happy, baby. Just wait and see. For every kiss you give me, I'll give you 3. Oh, since the day I saw you, I have been waiting for you. You know I will adore you till eternity. So won't you please be my little baby. Say you'll be my darling.
Fantastic, thank you, Josh. Just a reminder, tomorrow is Groucho's Polio Plus Day. So if you have a chance, please go by Groucho's, and they will be giving a portion of the proceeds to our Polio Plus Foundation. Also, we still have room for volunteers at the Stop Hunger Now drive that will be happening at St. Albans. So if you would like to, please sign up to support that. And now, Tara Bland has an announcement for us.
A few weeks ago, we had Marcus Miller here from the Hickory Greenway Harvest, and they are actually building the garden at the salt block now. And they're going to have the raised beds built before Friday, and they're looking for people to help come Saturday morning and help fill those beds with the soil that they're going to be delivered. So I'm just sending this out as an opportunity if anybody's looking for something other to do than Stop Hunger Now, because I do want everybody to do Stop Hunger Now as well. But they're going to start at 9 o'clock, and then they'll be there till about noon, filling those beds, and they love our support.
Thank you, Tara. And Philip Reed also has an announcement from the membership committee about one of the initiatives that we have coming up.
Thank you. Each of you in this room is a Rotarian because somebody invited you to come to a meeting and probably sponsored you as a member. And if you look around, there are folks, and I've only been in the club just short of 3 years, there are folks that were sitting across the table from us 2 or 3 years ago that are no longer here because retirements or moving away or changes in their business or whatever caused them to leave the club. So it's critically important that we continually be on the lookout for new members to be a part of our club. And an opportunity is coming up which Leslie or Tara's going to tell you about. But you be thinking about people you cross paths with or see in your business that would make good Rotarians. And then Tara's going to tell you what to do with them.
So on March 30th, we're going to look at having a club social at the crossing. It'll be from 5 to 7 that evening. We're asking you to bring somebody. And it's just going to be an open social, kind of like what we do at Christmas. Time for everybody to meet and greet, shake hands. And so you know somebody that probably would be a great candidate for membership in Rotary, and we're asking you just to bring them. And we'll have some flyers out next week so you can hand those out to people that you know that may be prospective members.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tara. Thanks, Philip. Do we have any other announcements before we get started with the rest of the program? Okay. Thomas Griffiths has our sunshine report.
Thank you, President-elect Mark. We have a lot of birthdays to celebrate today, the last few days, and the days to come. So I would like to ask our birthday celebrants to please stand as I call your name. February 27th, David Milholland.
They already met that last week.
Well, you can be announced again. Today, Mark Thomas. I'm Mike Thomas and Mark Seaman. Oh, go ahead and stand, Mark. Tomorrow, John Clark and John LaFontaine celebrate birthdays. And then Saturday, Carol, are you here? Carol. Hey, all right, good. Happy birthday to all of you. I do not have any announcements regarding the health of the club. Does anyone know of illnesses or other issues that we need to be mindful? Well, our Service Above Self Scholarship team is going to be getting to work this month. And in light of the work that we have before us, I want to remind you of our Service Above Self Scholarship and to tell you that we currently have 5 students who are receiving scholarship funds from us. There is Rachel Keck, who was our Service Above Self Scholarship recipient last year. Julia Kessel, who was our Service Above Self Scholarship recipient in 2015. Tony Abernathy was our Service Above Self Scholarship recipient in 2014. And then Darius Malbon and Katie Mathewson were our recipients in 2013. I've been in touch with these students and asked them to send me and us something of the way they are continuing their service above self. I received a lengthy response from Julia Kessel and a nice response from Darius Malbon, and I will share others as they become available. But let me share quickly some of what Darius had to say. Darius is a student at Lise McRae College, and he says to us, Rotary has helped me tremendously through college. It has allowed me to be able to purchase books and materials. Also, it has allowed me to get a refund check where I can purchase outside necessities such as food. At school, I am on the basketball team, along with being involved in many clubs and a tutor. So time is not a luxury that I have. This scholarship has helped me considering that I cannot have a job throughout the year. Thank you again, Rotary Club of Hickory, for this opportunity. And then Julia You almost have to be a scientist to understand some of what she says, but I'll read this as quickly as I can. After enrolling at the University of Alabama in the fall of 2015, I have become involved with many service organizations, honor societies, and research projects. During my freshman year, a faculty member in the Capstone College of Nursing and I completed a research project on the PAI-1 gene with a specific focus on the effect of differentiating alleles in the human body. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Great. During our project, I began a program to help promote undergraduate research in different colleges and now serve as a research ambassador for the College of Nursing. After completion of that project, I began computational analysis research in the chemistry department. Computational analysis, specifically computational thermochemistry, is a field that has come of age in the last decade and a half that aims to predict the energy of electrons in a molecule by solving the Schrödinger equation for electronic motion for a fixed nuclear position for reactions that are too difficult, dangerous, and
This sounds
expensive
like a
to
rerun
perform.
of The Big Bang
Got
Theory.
it?
Amy Farrah Fowler.
Okay, one last note. In addition to this research, I'm involved in multiple service organizations like the Health Ambassador Intern Program, a peer education program that distributes educational materials to the student body via tabling and presentations to resident halls and other organizations. I am also involved with an organization called CHEER, which designates drivers to help students find safe homes or safe travels to their homes. And she's also involved in the Presbyterian Student Ministry and the tennis team. I could go on, but you can see that at least these students are very actively engaged in their respective schools, Lisa McRae and the University of Alabama. And I think we can be proud of what we accomplished for these. So thank you, Rotarians, for making possible the Service Above Self Scholarship.
Thanks, Thomas. After listening to that, I feel like a slug. Mark Seaman has today's program.
Thanks, Mark. Obviously, you can read what's in this book, so I'm not going to repeat that, but in the interest of time, I'll kind of just give a brief overview about our speaker today, Brian. He is from Lima, Ohio. He went to the University of Dayton, where he played football. He was a center on the football team there. He was at Dayton prior to coming to App. He's been in App for 2 years, I believe now, and he is married with 2 girls that are 7 and 4. So I'll bring Brian up here to give his presentation.
I definitely have to echo what Mark said there, relative to feeling like a slug. That's what the hardest part about working on a college campus and within an intercollegiate athletic setting, essentially, is that you get to see those talented young men and young women, very similar to what we have here from Lenore Ryan today, and what they do and their dreams and their visions of what they can become. So, you try to think, maybe I should have worked a little bit harder when I was back in school, or maybe I should have done this. So, but at the same time, you get the ability to help work to fulfill their visions. So. Very grateful, for allowing me to come and speak and present to you all here today. I've got my fact checker in the back, Mr. Olson. He will ensure that everything I say is 100% accurate and up to speed, because you've heard this, maybe 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times. So, but again, we've got a nice flavor of Appalachian folks in the room. This area, Catawba County and certainly surrounding counties, is significant for Appalachian. Specifically, the athletic department. We enjoy getting down here. We enjoy being a part of not only these type of functions, but any opportunity that we get to present ourselves, here in the area. So we're pleased. It only took me about 30 minutes to get down today. I had about a 60-mile-an-hour tailwind coming off the mountain. Last night it was gusting pretty hard, and so again, excited to be here. So, but most importantly for you all, I want you to realize how much your community thanks you for your service. and what you do and the value that you add to your surrounding communities. We work very diligently with our student athletes on the campus of Appalachian State to ensure that they're very involved in our community. And we'll do anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 community service hours, which I think you guys would probably even surpass that. So it's very much appreciated. As Mark said, former student athlete at the University of Dayton. I had an initial desire to get into coaching. I was a football player. My number was 62, and my coach used to always tease me that the two stood for too slow, too weak, too small, consistently. But it's just kind of an underserved opportunity. But what the athletic experience provided to me was a chance to be around teammates, to be around friends, to have an opportunity to experience. And so I committed myself to essentially joining that profession. And coaching is a full-time commitment, if you will, and administration is just that much more so. And so there's a quote by Teddy Roosevelt, and I've left it up there for folks who would like to read it, and I'll kind of paraphrase essentially, but the focus, it's called The Man in the Arena. And the focus is essentially based on the person who is willing to enter the arena, so to speak, which can be a job, a sport, a lifestyle, whatever it may be, but you're willing to get out there and try. And it's not so much the critic or the person who's willing to speculate on what it's like to be there, but it's the person who's willing to step up and to step into that process and actually do it. And so I've kind of adopted that. I've worked on the external areas of an intercollegiate athletic department now for 15 years. As Mark mentioned, I've been with Appalachian State for the last 2, and it's an exciting time to be involved with Appalachian State and specifically the athletic program. Everything that we're doing up on the mountain, for those of you who have a chance to get, Bob, whether you get up and see your grandchildren or whatever it may be, but when you get on a college campus, there's a sense of energy. There's a sense of excitement. There's a sense of passion. And for us, with 18,000 students currently, with projected steady growth, possibly to 20,000 over the course of the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, numerous majors, health sciences is really rapidly expanding for us on campus. We've got a $70 million facility that they're going to build right next to the Watauga Medical Center that was funded from the Connect North Carolina bond, the $2 billion bond package that was passed here this past year. So again, it's passion, it's energy, it's growth. And you have the chance to work with and enable 18 to 22-year-olds to find their vision, find their goals, and find their dreams. Appalachian was listed number 28 in Kiplinger's Best Values, and then we were also 3rd in our U.S. News and World Report for regional universities within the South. So not only are we being recognized locally, but certainly for us, we're being recognized nationally as well. Our athletic department, as you can see there in your spoke, we have 450 plus student athletes in 20 sports, which for a school our size at the Division I FBS level is a significant number of mouths to feed. We have a lot of sports that, somewhat non-traditional relative to our competitors, within the Sun Belt Conference. And so it forces us to essentially say, where will you work to allocate your resources? And then certainly what can you do to find additional resourcing? Because as we all know, the world's getting much more expensive day by day. What we're most proud about at Appalachian amongst those 400 plus student athletes is that we carry a 3.09 GPA on average amongst our entire athletic department. We've had 9 semesters over 3.0 collectively amongst all of our teams. We operate on a $23 million budget. Our revenues are generated through student fees, institutional support, fundraising is a key component. Ticket sales are vital for what we try to accomplish. We also get distributions through the NCAA and also the Sun Belt Conference, as well as merchandise, concessions, multimedia rights, any which way we can make a dollar. We certainly look. Because what we do then on the expense side is turn around and immediately reinvest every revenue that we generate back into the student athlete experience. So from a scholarship standpoint to hiring and retaining outstanding staff that will work with our student athletes to develop them. From the operations, how do they travel? How do they eat? How do they find a way to be recruited by their specific coach? All those things play into that student athlete experience. And then finally, and one of the most expensive portions is the facilities commitment. What we're going to do now over the course of the next 5 years is launch into a $60 million initiative to raise funds to improve our facilities across our entire athletic department. From wrestling to volleyball to tennis to golf, all the way through to football, and a beautiful facility that we're looking to launch into a conceptual, transition from a conceptual nature into an actual project here in the very short term. So everything that we do is based around our football program. It is certainly our enterprise sport. And as many of you know, you go from a FCS program into an FBS program, takes a significant effort, significant involvement. The good news is that we were doing it from a position of success. 3 national championships. They're at the FCS level in 5, 6, and 7. And this that little old win over Michigan, there in 2007 to open up the start of the year, which being a guy from Ohio, I was all for it, right? I mean, anytime you could knock off the Maize and Blue. One of the best stories I heard through the whole process was the fact that the amount of gear that Ohio State fans bought from Appalachian after that victory topped like $100,000. And then this year, I don't know, there was again a pretty big competition between Ohio State and Michigan. But right as soon as you see Michigan coming through the team tunnel, there's a guy back behind them holding the Appalachian flag draped over the tunnel, just to give them a little bit of a jab. So again, that's what intercollegiate athletics is all about from my perspective. It makes it fun. With our transition to FBS, we are essentially the only Division I FBS program here in the high country. So west of 77, if you look at it from that pretense, we're the only Division I football program that competes at that FBS level. So I'm fairly positive, and Mark can agree, as soon as you cross over into Tennessee, everything pretty much turns orange. And if you go south into South Carolina, it's going to be a little bit of orange, maybe a little bit of maroon. You go north into Virginia, especially in Southwest Virginia, it's going to be a lot of maroon with Virginia Tech and whatnot. So we really focus on this area, collectively. Within a 10-county radius outside of Boone, we've identified there's roughly 250,000 folks. And we certainly only have capacity, we figured out this past year from our Miami game, of about 34,000. But we have several games that we would still like the chance to be able to fulfill some more folks in there. So again, the transition was certainly unique. Not every school has transitioned from FCS to FBS the way that we did, and to have the kind of success that we have had. Jerry Moore was a Hall of Fame coach, very well received within our community, within our space, with what he did. So he built a platform of tradition and success, which helps recruit the next student athlete, which helps build a facility, which helps you win games, which helps you sell more tickets. It becomes very much a cyclical approach. And what he was able to do to put us onto the platform to be able to hire and retain Scott Satterfield, who has done a wonderful job of leading our program into the next evolution, if you will, as we work into the FBS level, is to be able to maintain that success. A little history fact, and this may come up, not only did Appalachian get the win over Michigan, which is one of the biggest all-time upsets in college football, but we were the first program ever to make the transition to FBS, and then also win our first bowl game that year. Not only being bowl eligible, but winning our bowl game. And the best news is we did it about 3 days before our rival Georgia Southern, who did it just a few days after us, but we get to do it first. So we'll still focus in on that. It takes talent. You have to be able to recruit outstanding individuals. Again, I talked about our academic commitment. Appalachian is not an easy place to get into. It's one of the challenges that we deal with, which forces us to recruit in a different fashion than other programs and other schools may do so, not only within the state, but within our region. And so our incoming student athletes for our football program in 2016 had a 3.5 GPA. Our incoming student athletes for 2017, this most recent class on signing day, had a 3.4 GPA. And they're talented individuals. And so our goal is not only to the athletic commitment, but also to the academic commitment as well. Everything that we try to do is to get those young men and women the tools that they need to be successful. For us, a lot of that comes into how do you schedule. And we've had a chance to talk a little bit at the table here before we got started. Many of you had a chance maybe to tune into the initial football game this past season. We played at Tennessee, almost knocked off Mark's alma mater, and had a chance to play a heck of a ball game all the way down to the wire. And so that's what student athletes want. You want the chance to compete against the best. You want the chance to put yourself out there, very similar to that Teddy Roosevelt quote I mentioned, and have a chance to either be successful, on the field of play, or know that you gave it your all. Moving into this season, for 2017, we've got a very exciting slate once again. We're going to play at Georgia to open up, so we'll go between the hedges there within the Southeastern Conference, and then we're also going to host Wake Forest on September the 23rd. So it's our second time bringing an ACC opponent into Boone, into the high country. If I'm in Hickory, we do a lot of business down here anyhow, but folks for the Miami game ended up finding their way down here just to find a place to stay. There was that much demand, and so this is always good, for our surrounding area and surrounding community. In the future, we're going to be playing East Carolina. We're going to do a game at Bank of America Stadium, there with an NFL team, obviously the Carolina Panthers, and then we're going to go to East Carolina, and then they'll come to Boone, and then we'll return a final trip there. And then you may have saw on the paper here just recently with one that plays very, very well for us, being able to schedule kind of the flagship institution in the state. We're going to do an away game at Carolina, down in Chapel Hill. They'll come up to Boone, and then we'll return a game down there. Obviously,